morning, Delivery Fam, and welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with UDM on the Life of a Gig Worker podcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing if America did away with tips. Josh, would gig workers be able to survive? If they did away, if you received emails right now, or you woke up one day and you got a whole lot of emails, a whole lot of notifications because people are going crazy. America banned tips. America banned tips. What would your response be? And what would your next move be?
I mean, hopefully that email came with an email behind that to tell us what the pay would be if we lost access to tips. But in my opinion, it might actually be a good thing for some drivers. You know, you get to short deliveries. You know what I mean? My next move would be to try it out. You know, because you're gonna have a lot less competition. A lot of these people that are like no tip, no trip, they're gonna disappear off the platforms. There's gonna be a whole lot less competitions, and with that less competition, you're gonna be able to pretty much accept more orders or see more orders because not a lot of people are in the queue, so you can filter through more orders a lot quicker.
Okay. I understand what you're saying, but before I give my views on anything, there's something I would like to show you, a video where I'm just gonna play it. How about that? All right. This video here, it was very enlightening. So let's watch it really quick.
Your total for a VENTI Americano is $5.50. Great. Can I pay by card? Sure. And how much would you like to tip today? Sorry, a tip? $1? Okay, $5. Oh, thank you so much. Here you go. Did I just pay $10 for Americano? Your total.
Now, when I watch this video, I will say, like, damn, man. Like, I don't understand, like, the coffee. I don't drink coffee, right? But I don't understand that stuff. But obviously, I know to some level a venti is a certain size, right? You drink Starbucks and stuff?
I mean, every once in a while, a venti is about $6-7 at this point. So
okay, all right. So since a venti is about $6-7, what would you do if you were the customer and you saw the staff responding in that way? Like, hey, how much would you like to leave? How much would you like to leave as a tip? Wait, what? Why are you asking me about that? But
yeah,
tell me.
Off rip, I'm out the door. I'm out to keep the coffee. That's not, bro. Tips are so misguided at this point. It was always supposed to be a gratuity, and I know a lot of people are saying that it's a bid for service, but you know, in the gig economy world, but a tip has always been gratuity. It's for the level of service that you received. You took my order. I haven't even gotten the coffee yet, because when you pay, you got to pay up front, right? I haven't even gotten my coffee yet. So what did you do that was so fucking special to get a $5 tip? Let's be real.
I mean, when I've gone into Starbucks, I've seen sometimes they be moving back there and they be like, you know, and to me, I have a different view of it, right? I understand what you're saying, but I have just a slightly different view. In this case here, the attitude that she was giving, well, first, the moment that she said something about how much would you like to tip, I would have been looking crazy. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just ordering a coffee. What do you need a tip for on a coffee? That's what Americano is, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, a cup of coffee. I ain't asking you to make me a sandwich or a platter of sandwiches or anything. Like why you need a tip on this? Just pour the coffee and hand it to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, that would be my thinking, right? So looking at the way her body language and how she was looking left and right when she mentioned $1, I was like, well, damn. Like I felt some type of way about the whole situation as if I was the customer. But then when I heard the customer say, "Well, $5,"
I was thrown back.
That tip shaming is part of the reason why we are here, right? In this sense, a lot of people understood tip comes after the service, and you just said it. Tip comes after the service, but I wanted to read some of these comments that I saw under this video. I got to give a shout out to this person, this content creator. I do not know how to pronounce it. You want to take a shot at it, Josh?
Kaglau? Kaglau?
Yeah. So he butchered your name, not me. Okay. I hope if it's right, cool. But if it's wrong, he butchered it. Okay, not me. So, I wanted to put just a few of these screenshots of some of the people in the comment section under that video, and then we could continue about what your next move would be if tipping was banned in America. All right. So check this out. The first comment that I saw was a tip for entering my order. You're one kiosk away from being replaced.
Yo.
I'm like, whoa, that's a hard hitting tip. Like that's a hard hitting one because a lot of these restaurants you go into, they have a lot of kiosks in there, and some people don't even want to work the front register anymore. You know what I mean? Because they have a kiosk. Right? Now, here's another one. $1 tip for $5 coffee is a 20% tip.
Damn right it is.
Now, you know how in the gig economy space, they say no tip, no trip, right?
Yeah.
But I've always tried to understand that because if a person leaves a tip is a tip, right? But
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in this case here, it's actually 20%. 20% of $5 is $1. Right?
That's standard.
Now, I just got two more screenshots here. Pay cash. Do not let these people touch your cards. There are some places though, Josh. I don't know if you've experienced this. There's some places that don't accept cash anymore.
Yep. Yep.
And it came with this tipping thing, bro, after COVID. Anyway, the last screenshot I have here, when you ask for a tip, you don't get a tip. I must add that when I dine in and they do a great job, I will tip from 20 to 28%, and that is the right way to do it. How do you feel about what that person just said? Mike G 1589.
1,000%. 1,000% that the tip should always be after service. If the service was great, you get an amazing tip. If the service wasn't that great, then you don't get a tip. Your tips are based off your performance. And this is coming from me working at Domino's. Some orders didn't have tips. They couldn't afford to tip. What it was. But, some people would leave, 28, 30, 40, 50%. So it made up for it. So if you mess up on an order or you mess something up, hey, you're going to take a hit. It's based on performance.
All right. So that's your take on the whole thing. When it comes down to tips comes after the service, and it's a gift, right? It should not be mandatory. It's a gift, right?
Yeah.
In the gig economy, as old as these food delivery apps are, tips, then the pre-tipping option became more of a mandatory thing for you to get your food fast. Right. Mm-hmm. But Uber, once upon a time, Uber wasn't showing the upfront payout with the tips. Right. They were just showing the base pay. And I remember this was like back in, I want to say like 2018 or maybe 2019, early 2019. People used to clown me for accepting these crazy looking orders from their perspective. It was just the base pay on Uber of like $3. But I had to learn my market as well as I did to know what areas are more likely to tip. And these were the orders that I would be taking to those specific areas versus seeing the base pay included with the tip as we do now. And now I make a decision and then I get tip baited. Did you see that episode?
Yep.
You see what I mean? So that whole tip baiting thing came after the pre-tip became more mandatory. But the whole frustration with tips became an issue after COVID. Everybody want a tip. And now a $5 venti, they want $5 tip. So the question is, you're about to make a point before we even continue the main topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on Starbucks a little bit, but then I'm gonna go back to your pre-tip point. Starbucks workers make on average between $12 and $15 an hour. I did a little quick search on it, right? That's based on 3 different states, 3 years running. So between $13 and $15 an hour. So if you're making between $13 and $15 an hour and you want a $5 tip, you know how many cups of coffee you're selling? I know y'all are probably tip sharing, but you see how long some of these Starbucks lines are. You know what I mean?
Most of the time, bro. Most of the time.
Super long. Every customer tips $5 coming up through there, or $5 a cup because it's cheap to leave $1 for 1 cup of coffee. But $5 a cup of coffee, you're gonna be making $150,000 as a barista.
Let's not even just look at. I'll let you finish, but let's not just only look at like Starbucks, even Dunkin' Donuts. The breakfast lines be crazy, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, you can't expect a tip. And especially, rolling it back to what you said, the pre-tip. I said years ago, and I know you remember me saying this, pre-tipping and being more transparent is going to do nothing but lower your pay.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Because what's going to end up happening, and it's exactly what's happening, these contractors are considering these tips as a bid for service.
I've heard that a lot.
Straight up, to hell with you. If you don't want to deliver my order, fine, don't deliver my order. Somebody else will. You can sit on the sidelines. I might have $20 for you. You don't know what's going through my mind. I'm not bidding for your service. You ain't that special, and you ain't that important.
That's interesting, because at one point I felt like a lot of people felt bad for us as service workers when COVID hit. And they were going above and beyond. Thank you for your service. Like they were like saluting us and stuff because we're out here in the scary world that they don't want to be in right now, and they're placing an order. Like one of the things in a song that I did, I said, rainy days be increasing them pesos, right? That's because these customers don't want to go out in the monsoon type rain. And especially if they don't have weather boots, they don't want to go out here in rain boots to go get their food. They say, man, thank you. I left you a nice tip on there because I didn't want to go out into the rain, right? So the pre-tipping thing is a gift. Thank you. Like you said, I'm being grateful for what you did. This is my form of gratitude to you. Thank you for doing what I didn't want to do in this weather that I'm afraid of. Right. Or anything else. Right. So I get it. Right. I get their frustrations. I totally get it. 100%. But I also understand the driver's perspective on we can't work for nothing less than, with the base pay, it's just trash. It's so terrible. So the conversation, I want to push it towards, because a lot of drivers already heard this time and time again, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, right? Listen, we understand what it's like to get tip baited. Obviously, I did an episode about it. We also understand what it's like to see a bunch of no tip orders, lowball offers that's going ridiculous amounts of miles. We've seen it. Josh have seen it, and I have seen it. Okay, now, the thing is, we need to prepare ourselves for the next move, because there's a lot of people complaining. They're doing content creation about tips right now. And it's been a long time now. I'm saying right now, but that video I just shared was, I think, about a year old. Okay? It's old now, but it's circulating. So anyway, if tips were banned in America, like, if the tipping culture in other countries came to America, where service workers had to be paid more, right? Or let's just say they still don't want to pay us more. They're fighting it. but tipping is now banned in America. What would your next move be, bro?
Honestly, I would stick it out and give it a shot. And the reason that I say that is because I remember the days before all of these people came, back in 2019, 2020, right before COVID, when all these people came onto the platform. My phone used to go bing, bing, bing. I remember sitting on the phone with you. We could hit the decline button and something would be coming up instantaneously.
Yep.
You could sort through those orders. Now, if I was to go out there, I could just, I would be sitting for 30 minutes and be like, nah, I've been sitting for 30 minutes. I'm just going to let that go. You know what I mean? So it's going to remove a lot of the competition. It really is, because a lot of these people are going to say, hey, without tips, I can't be this slow. Right. Yeah. Which is good, because removing that competition creates more efficiency along your route. That's what a lot of people do not understand. I used to be able to grab an order, drop it off, pick one up from down the street, keep going, and I would be making circles, and just keep going like that. I would do 40 or 50 deliveries in a night, because it's like 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's just like 2 mile deliveries. That was Postmates days.
See, but it's so different now. They are like working overtime to send you far away, bro.
Mm-hmm. And it's because there's too many drivers on the platform. When there's too many drivers and not enough orders, you basically get offered whatever comes next. When you get offered whatever comes next.
I don't know about that. Here's the reason why I say that. Is because when I would turn on my Uber, let's just say like this past weekend, Sunday, when I turned on my Uber, bro, I was on Uber from like, I think 6 p.m. to 9, or maybe 5:30 to 9. Okay. And majority of my offers that had a decent payout on them, and when I say decent, I mean like double digit, they were all going to Miami Beach. That's about 19 miles. Why the hell would I go to Miami Beach, Josh, on a Sunday?
No, hell no. I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't go, but that you got to think too. That's where all the orders are coming from, because it was a holiday weekend. That's where everybody was at. Everybody's out by the beach or in their hotels ordering mad crazy. And they probably don't have enough drivers over there. They got drivers, Pines, Overtown, places like that, where they're trying to basically make money close to home.
I get what you're saying, but I feel there's a lot more orders around me, even if I don't know when the orders are being placed by customers. But I felt that night there's a lot more going on around me that they could have sent that's a lot closer, but they kept trying to send me to Miami Beach.
It's a bait tactic. So as a previous gig employee, one of the things that I would do personally, if I see you're going in that area and I want you to do something in that area, or I see that you're going the opposite way that I want you to go, I'm going to offer you something that looks appealing to get you where I want you to be.
I get that. I get it, but I've been burned already, and I'm not taking it. So if I'm not gonna do that, and tips go away, right? Tips are banned, right? If that's what I have to make a decision to do, like I'm gonna get base pay to go to Miami Beach from 19, 20 miles away, I'm not gonna do it. And I could say that because I've been spoiled with the upfront tipping, right? I've been spoiled with the upfront tipping, but at the same time, Uber should come out of pocket a bit more if they want me to do that.
1,000%. If they were to get rid of tipping, they would be forced to start doing profit share with the drivers, because you can't keep 60% of these fees and pay your drivers $1. You can't do that. Drivers won't stay.
So my next move would be to start my own business.
1,000%.
I've had enough experience being on the road, and experience, like a lot of these restaurant staff, they know me. The restaurant owners and managers, they know who I am, because I've done so many catering orders and on-demand orders as well, that they know me. So it would only be the most logical thing to do next on the list to just start my own business and just go full force with that. And while I'm going full force with that, I'm going to still turn on the apps and I'm going to make what I can make with them. Like say if I get one $10 order for the day, I'm just going to make it extreme, right? If I get one $10 order for the day that was worth it, like say $10 going 2 miles, I'm going to take them $10 and I'm going to put it in a high yield savings account. That's the money is going to go straight to the high yield savings account and I'll just let it build. Just let it build.
1,000%.
Just let it build. Hey, it is what it is. At this point, this is, and for all those that's listening and watching, this is if tips get banned because I am currently spoiled. I came from doing Uber, just base pay as the offer screen. You're not seeing the pre-tip option. You're not seeing a $20 offer, $30. You're not seeing none of that. You're seeing $3. That's all you're seeing. $3. And it's a whole lot more to it, but $3 and you're seeing the map on where it's going. And you now have to make a decision on that. That's where I came from. So since I came from there and then I got spoiled with the pre-tip showing me at least an estimated amount up front and I make my decision based on that, I cannot go backwards. I'm just being honest, Josh. I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from with it, but I can't go backwards. So since I know with catering orders, there's money out here, the type of money that people are spending on catering orders, corporate level or just regular residents, citizens, whatever, right? They spending hundreds of dollars on pizza. You gotta deliver like 20 pizzas from a high ticket pizza restaurant. Like, whoa, like for real? Like I even seen people delivering like extra large pizzas. I didn't even know these humongous pies existed. You know what I mean? Seeing that there's so much money invested in convenience from the consumer, you better believe your bottom dollar. I'm starting a business. I'm starting a business and I'm pushing that. But in the meantime, I will keep running my apps until my business takes off.
Yeah, that's what these apps were for. And that's the thing. A lot of people, I've said it for years, use the apps as a stepping stone. Use these apps as a stepping stone. Stop being independently dependent. That was my favorite one. At the end of the day, you should be out here building your brand, building your name, and utilizing it to build something better. Look what I did. I started a whole taxi company off of just private clients. Those private clients started talking to other private clients. Those private clients started talking to other ones. And before I knew it, the phone was ringing off the hook. Hey, we're flying to Orlando. Hey, you got any drivers in Kansas City? Hey, you got any drivers in Detroit, Chicago, California? Absolutely. I'll find somebody. You know what I mean? Like that, this was what it was meant to do. Not that it was their intended purpose, but it was to teach you to run a business, handle your money, handle your business, and get out.
Now, I've said I agree with you there, right? But you know, a lot of drivers, including myself, I'm not just gonna put drivers in this category, and I'm gonna single myself out or isolate myself from this conversation. No, a lot of drivers, including myself, it's like when we see an opportunity and it's easy to make money with it, as long as I'm not, and I'm gonna tell you how my mind worked. I want to say maybe a few years ago, right? Because my mindset is a lot different now. But when I left the school system and I started working, I saw how much more I was making for the day versus working at the school. At the school, I was making about $70 a day. Okay? So $70 a day. If I ever get to a point where this is my mindset back then, if I am making $70 a day, I was better off with the school system. You know what I mean? So if I am making 120, I know I have to take into account gas and taxes and everything. After I deduct all those expenses and I'm still making more than I made at the school board, I'm gonna keep on doing this. You see what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going back to where I came from. Right? So I'm comfortable where I'm at, but I also have the mindset of, you know what, I gotta do better. I gotta find something else. I gotta keep on moving. So yes, I was the guy that had 1 million apps. That's exaggerated, but I had a whole lot of apps on my phone in all different types of industries, even laundry washing app. I never washed anybody's clothes or dirty drawers or skid marks, but I said to myself, if it's money and it look decent and my water bill ain't gonna be too crazy, and whatever expenses that I would have to spend on detergent and all that stuff, if it ain't looking too crazy, I just might wash somebody's clothes. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I was looking at it. Go ahead.
I call those the fuck it moments. If you ain't got shit else to do and there's some money to be made, fuck it. Get it done.
But at the same time, though, isn't that the mentality of, man, I'm just spoiled. I just rather do something else on another app instead of going to get my own.
It can be, but I mean, look at Jeff Bezos, for example. Jeff Bezos started a bookstore from his garage. It was a fuck it moment. It was him and a couple of friends started a bookstore. They were selling books that they bought from their garage.
Yeah.
And it has become the world's largest online retailer. Because instead of saying, "Oh, we only want to sell books, we only want to be a Barnes and Noble." No. Hey, can you guys sell these pair of shoes? Fuck it, we'll take it. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's a little different. Just to interject really quick, because imagine if Jeff had someone saying, "Hey, like an app that Jeff signed up for that sells books, and every book he sells, he makes money from it," right? Mm-hmm. Jeff decided to do it on his own. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. He decided to start his own business versus relying on, like you said, independently dependent, right? Right? The way you say it, right? So it's like, instead of Jeff depending on someone to supply him with customers to get these books sold or bought, he decided with his friends to go and get these customers that would like to buy these books. And then it turned into Amazon eventually. I know that's what you're getting at, but go ahead.
Well, I think there was a different part of that story. I believe one of them worked for a bookstore.
Well, my bad. I didn't know. As far as like one working for a bookstore, I didn't know that part. But go ahead, finish your story. My bad.
So, I mean, I feel like Uber is the same way. You got these customers. Uber is like gig work. I'll just say gig work. But gig work is an unlimited free lead soliciting, right? You got all these customers. Hey, here, take my business card. Oh, you could do rides on the side? Again, here we go. Fuck it. I could take some shit. I could take some shit on the side. Yeah, let's do it. Hey, I charge you the same price as Uber. You know, some of these people are like weird with their prices. Figure out a per mile per minute rate that works for you. Set it. Same thing with delivery. Figure out your pickup and delivery fee and set it. Add gratuity. Be able to have that liquidity to order the customer's food for them. Have that liquidity.
Yeah.
Make yourself valuable, just like Uber and DoorDash and all these others. You know, they have the liquidity to purchase the food.
But Josh, a lot of drivers don't want to do the work.
Then they can sit there and go without the tips. That's on them.
So
we gonna be over here cashing in.
So in a world of banned tips in America, right? If this is what it is, we have to accept what it is. What percentage of drivers you think would actually go back to the W-2 world?
I would at least say between 40 and 50%.
I feel like that's low.
Oh, I'm sure. I would honestly, if tips went away completely on every single platform, I would say between 60 to 80%.
That's what I was looking at, more like 80%, maybe even 85. Because even with, I remember many conversations where drivers didn't even want to multi-app. They were like, "Oh my gosh, no!" Like it was like man, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just like, it was such a bad thing to do. And there was drivers that would chastise you for multi-apping. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you telling me, oh, you're such a bad driver? That's why probably the customer's food is cold. And I'm like, only if you know you're doing it wrong. If you think I'm, and then one of my largest videos is the multi-apping video.
Mm-hmm. People wanted to know more.
They wanted to know more. But I strongly believe that a lot of drivers would just say, man, I'm going back to a W-2. I'm going back. I'm done. I can't do these $3 because I'm spoiled with the upfront tipping, and now they took it away. So I'm just going to go back to the W-2. But maybe about 15% or even 20% of those drivers, they are the ones right now that currently have an LLC or something going on outside of the gig economy. Maybe the gig economy is their main source of income, but they are working on something else outside of that. That's the 15 to 20% that I believe would thrive even after tips are banned, if that were to ever happen in America.
See, and that's the thing, man. The 15 to 20%, I salute them, rock hard. But at the end of the
Pause,
day,
bro.
What?
Pause.
Which?
Don't ever repeat it. Go. Just go. Go.
Stop it. But yeah, no, I definitely salute these guys, man. It is like I said, to have a plan to move out of the gig economy is what you are supposed to do. These jobs were meant to be an on the side thing. I understand your situation. I understand a lot of the majority of the people's situation. It's not an option for them to do this part-time. They can't hold a job. Or the jobs don't pay enough, or, whatever the case may be for them. This is why it is full-time for them. But for those of us who did it the right way and kept things on the side to make sure that this wasn't your full bread and butter, those are the ones who are going to survive. 1,000%. There is not a day that I go without money, not a single day. Not saying that I'm rich, but at the end of the day, I have prepared myself for slow days. I've prepared myself for slow weeks and slow months. So unless you're doing that, when these tips go away, I don't care how tough you think you are or how financially set you think you are, you're going to go away. Unless you know for a fact I got 6 months income in my pocket right now, that if I quit today, I could live on for 6 months, you'll be gone in a week.
I don't even think like that, bro. You know how you just said, like, having 6 months worth of earnings?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't enough for me.
Oh, no.
The reason why is because I look at it like 6 months worth of earnings saved up somewhere. Eventually that money's going to run out, bro.
Oh, 1,000 in 6 months. Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, it's going to run out in 6 months. So I don't even save for 6 months of no work. Like, I understand the importance of having some kind of security. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Right? I totally get it. But I don't want to have security for a portion of time, because I feel like that will be limiting my abilities on going and get it. You know what I mean?
So,
like,
yeah, no,
I would
1,000%.
if I have, let's say, let me just break this down to you. If I have 30 years of funds, I'm good. It's like I'm retiring early. You know what I mean? But if I have 2 months saved for me to get the ball rolling on something else, that's going to be enough savings for me to put enough fire up my behind and get going before this thing gets depleted. You know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it.
So here's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I take every time I hit 6 months, I take a month away. And what I do with that month is I take it, like you said, I put it in a high yield savings account, or I'll invest it in myself to build liquidity, or I'll, invest in something else. Not giving financial advice at all, but that's just what I do.
Yeah.
I continue to replenish that savings in case something were to happen. I've got 6 months to figure out employment. But that 1 month that I take away every single month and I put it somewhere, that is going, and it's building, and it's continuing to build, and will continue to build and make money on its own without me touching it. So that's why I say the first step is to build that 6 month savings.
All right. So let me tell you, since you brought up how you work your money or put your money to work, right? All right. So I've never heard this concept before, but my wife and I, we currently have something in place where every week we put something aside. I'm just gonna leave numbers out of it so people aren't really looking at this and like, oh man, you ain't got bread, bro. Like, no. So we put us. All right. So I'll tell you the concept. So we put a certain amount of money aside every week. She contributes the same amount I contribute. All right. By the end of that month, she takes a portion of that money that was saved for the month, and she does whatever she wants with it. If she want to go and buy her favorite bag, brand, or whatever, hey, my eyes closed, hear no evil, see no evil, right? Like, you do whatever you want with it. And we alternate months. So every 6 months, she gets something. Not every 6 months. What am I saying? Every other month for 6 months, she gets money to do whatever she wants with it. And the other 6 months, I get money to do whatever I want with it. If I want a new camera, I know I got 6 months worth of money that I could stack up and I could invest, or I could buy a camera with, and she can't tell me nothing. She's like, oh my God, oh, you bought another camera. Every time I get my gadgets, she's like, she down my throat, bro. She always trying to say whatever she can. But the whole concept is we save money every week. And then at the end of the month, we take a portion of that money. It might be 25% or 50%. Ours is 50%, okay, of what was saved. By the end of the year, what was stacking in the account, we then break that down. 60% goes into putting the money to work, investing in stock market, treasury notes, any which way that we could invest, even into real estate, right? Whatever we can invest, whatever that 60% will go into something to put the money to work. It's gonna grow and grow while we're sleeping. 40% of it, we're gonna use it to do things that need to be done. Like, let's say, if we want to redo our roof, we use a portion of the money or all of the money. But my wife and I would sit down. She's my business partner, long life business partner, right? We sit down, we look at the money, and we make a decision together what we're going to use this money for. If we decide, let's say if we got like 6 bands, right? Or for those that not into lingo like that, if I just got $6,000, right? If I got $6,000 and my wife and I sit down and we say, all right, we got $6,000. We look around, the roof is good, the house is good. You know what? Let's all go on a vacation. Let's go on a month vacation, babe. Where you want to go? Aruba? You want to go Aruba? We're going to bring the kids. Will this $6,000 last us? You know what? Let's go to Thailand. I heard it's cheap to be in Thailand. It's cheap over there, right? It's nice. And
it got a nice motherfucking invite this time.
It got a nice feng shui in Thailand. You know what I mean? And just you go there and just clear our minds from America and the American soil and all the crap that's going on here, right? We make the decision together how we're gonna spend this $6,000. You You see what I mean? So that's what we do. But the money is already stacking. And then one thing I didn't even mention in that putting that money to work, life insurance policies, all kind of things, you know what I mean? To put that money to work. But the whole point of that 60% is to let it grow while we're out doing whatever the hell we want to do. And we come back and we got more money than we put in.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole purpose. That's why I do it. You know, the gig work money that I make now, most of it goes straight to that account. About 80% of it. The other 20 is gas tank, and every once in a while I'll dip in there $5-10 or whatever, get some lunch or whatever. But majority of that money that I make from the app itself, I will put away.
Bro, I watched the video. I gotta find it, and I'll send it to you. I won't put it on maybe a next Friday. I'll send it. Right, I'll share it on the screen. But I never, bro, my mind was blown, and I was pissed at the same damn time when this guy said, when you get a job, the point of you getting your job is supposed to be temporary. Mm-hmm. This is not his exact words, but I'm going to say it in my own words, right? The point of you getting your first job, it's supposed to be temporary. You're supposed to now use that check you worked hard for. Doesn't matter if it's a McDonald's. It doesn't matter if it's Chick-fil-A. It doesn't matter if it's Starbucks. It doesn't matter if it's a 6-figure job, whatever. The money you earn from your check, you're now supposed to put it to work.
Yep.
It's not just about, get a 401k. Yeah. But the money you get, you're supposed to put it to work. Put it to work. Go ahead. It sounds like you about to add something or say something.
I had a family member when I just turned 16. And when I turned 16, he told me, he said, listen, you're still basically making baby money, right? He said, so why are you going to sit here and use it all? He said, put it to work, make it work for you. He's like, even if it's only $20, $30, he's like, put it to work, because that same $20 or $30 when you turn 60 is going to be a couple $1,000, because those $30 have been working real hard.
But bro, go ahead, finish your point.
The money you add over time is going to make that money grow even bigger. And it's going to be like adding overtime to that first $30.
The book that I'm currently reading, I don't want to butcher the name, but it's about financial literacy. Bro, you know how many people don't understand just the simple concept of putting the money to work? A lot of people think, invest in the stock market. But not everybody knows how to invest or buy stocks and trade stocks or all that stuff. It could be very complicating. And when looking at complicated, right? So it's like when you're looking at the graph, it turns a lot of people off, because it's like, man, this is like, I don't know what this is. What is that? Options. Oh my God. What is that? You know, it's like going back to school all over again. But there's so many other ways to put the money to work, but that's not how we're taught. I will be honest and say, even in the household I was raised in, I was told, save your money, Brian. But go open up a bank account in one of these mainstream banks and earn about 0.0000001%. I know that's exaggerated, but it's for jokes, right? 0.0001% on what you. Oh, I just got an order. Ooh.
Great job.
Unfortunately, I cannot take it. Sorry about that, audience. But so the whole thing is, I'm not going to earn much on what I save in that bank account. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I got a follow-up question.
All right. But let me just finish, and I'll just wrap it up real quick. So the whole thing is being raised on, save your money, but not knowing how to put your money to work is the reason why I try to educate myself as much as I can about how to put the money to work. I mentioned treasury notes. My wife is into stocks and stuff. She didn't even know what a treasury note is. Do you know what a treasury note is?
Yeah, it's like it's a surety bond, basically.
Well, for those that don't, imagine you're lending money to the government, and they give it back to you with interest. But once it reaches its maturity, I mean, going through the I'd rather go through the government. Oh, you need some money? I got you. How much you want? You want $1,000? All right, there you go. I'll give you 1,000.
You seen their debt level lately?
I get it. I get what you're saying, but the whole thing is understanding how to put the money to work. I understand what you're saying, but this is what I was not taught. That's the whole point that I'm trying to make. I was not taught how to put the money to work. So when that person that you were talking to told you about putting the money to work, they already had some level of education on how to put it to work to teach you something. But I didn't have anybody to teach me anything. I had to learn for myself. But go ahead.
That man's living on a beach somewhere now. I haven't heard from him in years. So I'm going to tell you a short story. So when I was about 11, my father took me with him to do a couple of side jobs, right? And we got paid in a check. And it was an older lady. The lady paid me in a hand check, and she wrote it out to me. And my father looked at me and he said, "Wow, you made your first dollar." He said, "We're going to go open you a bank account. Same situation as you. We're going to go open you a bank account so you can cash that check." So we opened a bank account. At the time, it was called Pulaski Bank. And when we opened this bank account, like I said, I put the money in. It was $50, by the way. We put the $50 in the account, and it sat there for, honestly, until I was 21, until I remembered the bank account existed.
How much?
About 11 years, I made roughly about $58. $8 in 11 years. And I remember to this day, I called my brother up on the phone and I said, "Hey, I just pulled this check out of the bank, from when I was 11. And my handwriting was so terrible. I looked at all the digital files. They digitalized everything. And I said, I pulled this money out of the bank, and it's been in there for 11 years, and I've only made $8 and some odd cents." I told him, I was like, "I'm so stupid." I said, that money could have doubled if I would have just had my father cash the check and put it into S&P 500 or anything else. Anything. High yield savings account, anything.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. That's exactly it, bro. There's a lack of financial literacy in not just people of color, right? There's white, black. They say Asians they are really good with math, right? But one thing I want to say is there's slums everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
There's slums everywhere. So it doesn't matter what your cultural background is. There's a lot of people that just don't understand finances. They don't understand how the information is being kept from us in some way and feeding us something else. It's like, let me see if I could. The best way, I can't come up with something right now, but the best way that I could explain what I'm saying is, how they want, like when you were a kid, your parents want you to eat your vegetables, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I'll use this, veggie chips.
Oh God.
Kids love chips, so they turned the chips into veggies. Turn the veggies into chips. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's supposed to be healthier, right? Yeah, they're adding a whole lot of extra stuff to that to make it be what it be. But ultimately, it's like they're not giving you the information you need. They're giving you what they want to give you. So you're still not understanding how to put the money to work. They're saying, hey, open up a bank account. They're not saying high yield. They're not saying any of the additional ways the money can grow with compound interest or even getting a life insurance policy. Josh, I'm going to tell you this, bro. When I came to America, I didn't understand life insurance policies. I became a grown man living on my own, and I still didn't understand life insurance policies, bro. That's not my fault. That's not my parents' fault. That information was kept from my family. However many generations, for generation after generation, and each generation after that was just teaching the next one and the next one. Hey, yeah, put it in the bank account. Open up a bank account, and for you to earn $8 in 11 years. Like, no, that's not the game. And these people have kept it from us for years. So,
and that's the thing. I don't think they wanted us to know. They don't. Because that's the thing. What most people don't understand in this world, in order for it to continue to work in its working fashion the way it works now, is there has to be social status. There has to be a low, there has to be a mid, and there has to be a high. Everybody has to report to somebody, right? And what people don't understand is they teach a little bit about money in school, very, very little. And there's a reason that they do that. And it's a class called economics. I'm sure you took it.
Oh, yeah. I was sleeping a lot in that class, bro.
So in economics, they teach you about running a business. I don't know if you had to do the same project I did, but you had to build a business idea, put it into play, and throw it into the market. And then there was another one where they kind of basically gave you fun money in this little simulator, and they were like, here's $1,000, go invest it, see how far you get. All of us came back with nothing.
I don't remember those projects, Josh. You know,
you're a little bit older, getting a little gray hair to you.
Yeah, don't do that. But yeah,
what hair?
But I do understand where you're coming from, though. Right? There's certain things that were just not taught in school, and we have to go out there and we have to learn on our own. It's just the same thing as like when we first started doing gigs, we didn't know how to really go out there and make the money with the gigs. But once we became experts with it, we learned where to be, how to, how to be. We learned don't just drive around aimlessly, burning your gas, looking for orders. Right? Yeah. That was my first week, right? So I understand,
Mine too.
Oh, that was yours too? I didn't even know that part.
I drove around Orlando for hours and I forgot to turn the app on. I was like, damn, I ain't got
no. See, you worse than me. I had my app on.
Bro, this was Postmates. So I had thought that it was just going to send me a notification because this is before the go online button was there. You had to like swipe to get to it.
Oh my gosh.
I had went out at night and I'm like, all right, people should be ordering, right? So I'm sitting out here. I didn't do any research, zero. I was completely green. I was coming from Domino's. I thought people would just come to you, just like it does at Domino's. Like, hey, come get this order, bro. Come on. They call you, text you something. Yeah. I just signed up for it and sat out there with a V8 truck.
A V8?
A V8 truck, bro.
Even worse, Josh.
Bro.
I don't even know whatever. I was in my Honda Civic SI. You was in a V8.
An S8 or SI.
Yeah. But the point is we both made dumb decisions in our very beginning stages as gig drivers, right? So we learned what not to do. We figured out how to. We started making money. We started making more money and building relationships with people in positions, and we started doing certain things to elevate ourselves without even knowing we were actually working to elevate ourselves. I know that wasn't on my mind. I was just building relationships. It's always good to talk to people, right? You never know who knows who you may want to know in the future. So you might as well be friendly with everybody. You know?
Yeah, I'm a slick asshole because I thought if you were nice with everybody, they'd have your orders ready first. I had an ulterior motive.
Well, but still, that was smart. You understood the game and you were playing it. You know what I mean? So since you were playing the game, you knew something that the other driver next to you probably didn't know, and you in and out, you gone. You know what I mean?
My first year, I gave out a couple $100. When I would go to these places that the plate value was really high and the tips were really good, I would throw them a couple of bucks here and there. Like, hey, thanks for having that ready when I came in. And I would start to realize as I take more of these Grubhub orders and these large, super large orders, I'm continually going out before the other drivers. They have my shit ready. It's in a bag.
Yep.
It was in warmer. The shit was hot. Like the drinks were ready. They knew what I liked, what I didn't like. They double did the carriers, everything.
Yeah. And it was easy. I wasn't one to give anybody any kind of money or like buy my spot in the line or to move me up in the queue. Right. I wasn't into that, but I understand your reasoning, right? Maybe if it had crossed my mind back then, I probably would have done it, right? But it was just not something that crossed my mind. But at the end of the day, we made decisions to better ourselves from the situations we were in, right? So it's all about making moves. And that's the point of today's episode, fam. If you made it this far in the video, surviving without tips in America, the reason why we decided to have this conversation because it's very real that this can become an issue in the coming years to the point where legislation or stuff gets signed into law because of how the public is complaining about it. You know what I mean? So we don't know what's to come, but the point of this episode is to just kind of like have a conversation with you, to kind of like put something in your brain on how can I better myself with the current status that the America is in, the current status that the gig economy is in, right? What steps do we need to take next in case tips in America go away? And I said it. I can't go back to where I came from looking at base pay and trying to figure out if it's going to a good area that usually tips. Like, no. I can't go back that way. And if tipping is banned, that means whatever I see is whatever, that's all I would get. And even if it would increase the service from Josh's point, it would increase the quality of service by getting stuff done. It would not give me the money I need to survive in the year that we will be dealing with this. You know what I mean? Because inflation and everything else that has happened since the very beginning of the gig economy that I started working back in 2017, that's my beginning, right? I can't go back to that. So I'm going to start a business. I'm going to push it. I'm going to put money to work. I already shared how I save money, how my wife and we save money, and what we do with the money. The portion goes to this, the portion goes to that. And Josh shared a few things as well. And I'm just like, man, we gotta prepare ourselves as best as we can to deal with whatever that may come our way. Josh, you mentioned something about the 6 months worth of saving. And I said, I don't believe in that, right? I believe in maybe having a few months, but the reason for having a few months, and I say a few, like say a couple, like 2 months, is because that will let me know I need to get my behind going with something, because this money is about to run out. If I am comfortable with 6 months worth of saving, I may chill for 3 months. I'm just being honest. I may chill for 3 months and be like, man, I ain't doing jack, dog. I ain't doing nothing. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna fly over here. I'm gonna go to the beach and I'm gonna just chill out for a little bit. And then when I'm down to my last 3 months, now I want to put something in motion. Like, nah, I don't want to do that. The same concept of when you graduate high school, they say go straight to college, because if you chill, you ain't gonna go. You know what I mean? It's the same concept. So I handle it that way to just keep the fire. Just go. Get
everybody's got their own way, and that's amazing. And the thing is, if it works for you, it works for you. What works for me might not work for you. But as long as you're making the plan to move forward, I think everybody in this gig economy will be all right.
Yeah, I 100% agree. So, is there anything else you would like to say regarding tips in America, the video that we watched earlier of the young lady and the venti? Or any of these comments? Like man, like this video here is just, like I said, it's maybe about a year old. Let me just put that comment back up on the screen really quick. This comment was actually a year ago. You know what I mean? A tip for entering your order. You're one kiosk away from being replaced.
I got
any last words, bro?
Oh hell yeah. Y'all need to realize when y'all out here tip shaming these people saying, "Oh, this a bid for my service." You are one fucking drone away from being the next unemployment line. Like, you gotta chill, bro. Just like she a kiosk away, you a drone away. You ain't far off. Relax.
And you talking about drones. We ain't even gonna get into that. We'll wait for a future episode to get into the tech about, you know what I'm saying? But man, that's a whole nother conversation, man. But y'all, we appreciate y'all very much for those that tune in. If you made it this far, tell them an emoji to drop to let us know that they made it this far. Like,
you know what?
Money bag.
Yeah, love money. See, mind on our money.
Exactly. Money bags, $, anything relating to money. Put it in the comment section right now to let us know that you made it this far in the video. And fam, we got plenty more. We got plenty more to go, plenty more conversations. And if you would like to be a part of these conversations as well, like if you would like to call in and be a guest in part of one of the conversations that we'll be having, it won't always be about tips. It won't always be about just, it could be just about anything. So you got to be prepared. If you're interested, just let us know. Let us know in the comments and we'll work something out. All right. So Josh, another one, bro. Appreciate you for being my co-host. And we'll see y'all in the next episode.
No. Deuces.
Oh, you gonna put it up?
I wanted to do it. Deuces.
All right. So with that said, fam,
deuces.
Oh yeah. What time it is, D-fam? It's time to go get your money.